Vince?
Coach, you've often talked about coaching the coaches, and you're always evaluating. What have you seen from your coaching staff so far, leading up to the season and even since the season has started?
Well, really, it started back in, January. And, it all starts with cohesiveness. This has been a group that's extremely close. We spend more time together as a staff than we do with our families right now. So you have to enjoy, getting up and coming into work every day. And you get to know them personally just because of the inordinate amount of time that you spend. But I think the ability to communicate, the ability to work together, there's no egos. They'll do anything for the good of the program. I think it was really defined if you really look at the end of the game against Georgia Tech when we had 4 minutes and 50 seconds. We had to drive the length of the field with a new play caller, a new quarterback, a lot of new wide receivers, and we were able to score a touchdown and obviously then double overtime. So you find out a lot about your staff right off the get-go. And again, they work exceptionally well together, and everything's about the good of the program. I think they're relentless in recruiting, and they're good people. When you assemble a staff, you want teachers, you want high character people. And I look at it with having 3 boys of my own, and obviously one that is now really a part of the coaching staff, is would I want my son to be coached by them? And I ask that question all the time, and the answer is I would want all our coaches to coach my son, and that's why I'm excited that he's involved to the degree that he's involved in our football program, because he's learning the intricacies of how to coach the right way.
Steve?
After the game Saturday, you talked about the importance of getting off to a fast start in that particular game. But this rivalry, last 3 years, the eventual winner's been down at least 9 points in the second half. What is it about this rivalry that has enabled all these comebacks, and how much do you kind of emphasize, maybe even more than usual, finishing rather than starting necessarily?
Well, I think you have to have both. I think you have to be able to start fast, particularly when you go on the road. It's going to be a great environment, great college football environment. Of our 70 individuals that are aboard the plane to go to Gainesville, only 27 have ever even been in the swamp. So over half our football team, that's a great challenge in and of itself. So you have to rely on your older players. But it comes down to the discipline to execute for 60 minutes. If it takes more than 60 minutes, it takes more than 60 minutes. And I think it takes a mature football team, particularly when you go on the road in this great rivalry.
Blake, then David.
Hey, Butch. I know with Georgia Tech, you said it didn't necessarily matter so much who was at quarterback because their scheme stays the same. But with Florida, do you see things changing a little bit based on who plays quarterback?
They're going to do what they do. I think the thing about Florida is whoever the quarterback is, he's surrounded by great talent. They're very, very fast on the perimeter. They can take a 5-yard hitch and turn it into a 65-yard play. They're very good at the running back position. They're good at the offensive line. They're big, they're strong, they're physical. So they have playmakers. They're good at the tight end. So again, I do see a little bit though, and you can see a little bit of a change. Obviously when Zaire was in the game, but they're going to do what they do, and it's just like us. You have a system, and you have a system in place, and it's very adaptable to the quarterback, and that's the way I see their system. So again, they're going to do what they do, but those quarterbacks challenge you because they're very, very good football players. They can make the throws, and they're surrounded by good football players.
David?
Butch, with your teams in 2013, 2015, is there anything in particular that you learned about them going down to the swamp in that first SEC road environment of the season?
So you're talking about the first time when we went down there?
And 2015 as well.
I think the first time it was a belief that you could win the football game. And I remember staying in the locker room after the game and talking about how many people actually believed we could win the football game coming in here. And I think once that game ended, it was like, we could have won this football game. I think that's part of changing the mindset and the culture in a football program. And our players, I think, realized that because we spoke about it a lot. The last time going in there, we fully believed we could win the football game, and we did not finish, unfortunately. And, a game can, 2 or 3 plays can change the impact, the outcome of a game. And they went forward obviously on a number of fourth downs and were able to convert, and then we had an opportunity at the end of the game with a 1-minute drive. But again, you have to learn from those. But I think the big thing is belief in going on the road and winning football games. And I do think that's a byproduct of now being 17-4 in our last 21. Our players expect to win, but it's what you do throughout the course of the week to prepare to win. And we have a lot of young players now that have come into a winning program where, our seniors, they've still been through the trying times. They still understand the changing of the culture and the mindset. And a lot of times young players show up and they say, oh, this is how it's done. And that's why you have to rely on your veteran players to really lead them with your standards, your expectations, along with our coaching staff.
Rob, then Mike.
Coach, I know Quentin played at Georgia Tech, and hey, what was kind of a road game. When you take a quarterback make his first start on the road, what are just a couple of things you look for early that you want to see out there?
Poise, discipline, a calmness, leadership capabilities. You're the leader of that offense. When you go out there on the field, you're the leader on the football field. But I just think of an overall calmness, poise, consistency with everything that you do, and a confidence level. And we always say, really, if you look at the evolution of great quarterbacks, the great quarterbacks have the ability to lead their team from behind on the road to a victory, whether it's in a 1-minute drive or whether it's in the fourth quarter. And that's really the evolution. If you look at all the great players that have played this game, whether it's at the collegiate level or the professional level, that's what separates them, is being able to go on the road and win and perform in a hostile environment against a very, very competitive football team.
Mike, then Kirsten, then Jimmy.
Coach, a lot of times when there's big games, big rivalry games like this, you see some coaches shut down their program, not allow players to talk, tell them what not to say. This seems like a very routine week in terms of interviews and what players have said. Is that by design, or is that just the trust you have in this team, or just the way this team is developed?
I think it's the trust that I have in this team, the trust I have in our players, the trust I have in our overall program. And obviously, this is a big game. It's the next game. It's an SEC opponent. Obviously, it's a rivalry game. But our players also have great respect for Florida, and they understand the challenge that presents itself Saturday at 3:30 in Gainesville. But they're also very, very excited. So I think it's a respect. I think it's a respect to the game, and I think it's a respect for what they represent, which is a brand bigger than any one individual, and that's the University of Tennessee brand.
Kirsten, then Jimmy.
Butch, how difficult is it to game plan even this far into the week, not knowing whether Florida's going to have some of their biggest playmakers on the field? And then how difficult is it to play down there in Gainesville, just whether it be the humidity, whether it be the environment? And do you remember your first impression of the swamp when you first got there?
Well, it is a great challenge when you go on the road and you play there, and those are what we call uncontrollable factors. But you have to prepare your mind. You have to prepare your mind in terms of the humidity. You have to do your job throughout the course of the week in your preparation, and it's more than just practice. It's the mental preparation. It's your body preparation. Your body's your asset. So how are you hydrating throughout the course of the week? What's your nutrition levels like? Are you getting the 8 to 10 hours sleep that you need to be a pinnacle athlete, to be able to perform at a very, very high level? Those are all things that we talk about, and that's where the maturity of individual players, that's where the maturity of football teams really, really take over. But it's a challenge, obviously, from a communicative standpoint as well, with the crowd noise. So there's a lot, but that's also what makes it exciting to be able to go on the road. In terms of game planning, we game plan just like we prepare for that everyone's playing. And again, they're going to do what they do, and we're going to do what we do. And again, it really comes down to the discipline to execute for a long period of time, the ability to focus on each and every snap, and the ability to play with great effort and great team camaraderie. And then also, it's not just offense, defense, but it's special teams as well. They have some great weapons on special teams that really lets them control field position, as do we. So it's going to be a battle of wills on special teams as well.
Jimmy?
It seems like Florida always has a really good secondary. Your best receivers out. You've had some other receivers that have been banged up. How big of a challenge is this for your wide receivers against Florida?
When I looked at the travel roster, Jimmy, there was only one individual that even competed down in Gainesville or in the Swamp, and that was Josh Smith. So they're going to have to grow up in a hurry. And you're right, I said it on Monday, it's a typical Florida defense. When you look at Florida defenses, it always starts up front with disruptive quickness. Obviously, they're very, very talented in the back end. They're playing a lot of young players as well. And then they're very active at the linebacker positions as well. So it's going to be a great challenge for everyone. But these youngsters are excited to play. But again, it comes down to our preparation, the ability to play the 50-50 ball, all those things that really go into every single game. But I know they're looking forward to it, but it is going to be a great challenge for them.
Last couple, Patrick West.
Butch, obviously the game is obviously being played as scheduled in Gainesville. I'm wondering if you guys had to adjust any of your travel plans given, I guess, the hotel situation, just everything that's gone on down there in the aftermath of the storm, or is it standard what you guys are going to do from the start?
Yeah, as of right now, there's been no adjustments. And our administration has done a great job, led by John Curry. John's been in constant dialogue with the SEC, Florida's administration, obviously, with the hotels and the situations there. But as of right now, it's, proceed as planned. We don't anticipate any changes. It'll be a normal travel itinerary, a normal itinerary at the hotel as well.
Wes, final question.
Save the best for last, Wes.
That's what
We
I
need to
said.
wake y'all up. Let's go.
That's what I said.
We'll debate that, but that's all right.
That's a fair point. When you look at the field goal situation, y'all haven't really had to kick any this season. Has anything about that battle changed in the past couple of weeks? And also, are there any updates on guys like Barry and Eli Wolf and all those guys coming back?
Yep. First of all, Austin Smith, Balin Buchanan, and Eli Wolf will all be out. Everyone else we expect to play. Evan Barry's probably right now questionable, so we'll see if he's able to do some things today. But everyone else should be available and should make the trip, barring anything else happen towards the tail end of the week. But yes, we've tried to put our kickers in a lot of situations, a lot of stressful situations, a lot of end of the game situations. And a lot of those kicks that Aaron Medley had in the Georgia Tech game, even though they were extra points, they were significant extra points. There was some stress involved in those. And again, it's not just our kickers, but it's our protection in extra point field goal. But we'll continue to compete. We chart everything in practice, and it's ongoing. And could I see two kickers playing at some point? Absolutely. I think both of them have done a very, very good job. And I think right now where they're at in terms of distance-wise, their skill sets kind of complement each other as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out, guys.